Hey everybody, I'm here with the surf band Plank from Seattle, Washington. How are you guys?
Great.
Oh, we're doing fine.
So very excited to have you on. I'm a huge supporter of the growing Seattle and Pacific Northwest surf scene. Had the Desolate Coast on, had Tien and Tom on, and we're gonna have tons more. Redshift is being interviewed tomorrow. Um, plenty of bands from this year's Surf by Surfwest. Let's start off about what that means to you, the festival.
Well,
Uh,
we have
well, go ahead, Steve. You go ahead.
we have a really beautiful and mutually supportive scene here. I don't know how it is in other cities, but the way the bands support each other and the fans in Seattle, I think it's pretty unique. It's pretty great. It's like being in a big fraternity. It's it's pretty great. And so to be part of that festival every year is it's wonderful. It's very fulfilling.
Awesome. How about you, Bob?
Yeah, I really couldn't fill in much more than that, but we have played it for the last three festivals, because of COVID and all that kind of stuff. There was that break in between. So we pretty much played every one that they've, put together and advertised and so forth. And we've had a good, turnout. So yeah, it's enjoyable, and we get to play with a plethora of good, Seattle
Yeah.
surf bands that some that I've been doing this. I mean, we put this band together in the '90s, like about like mid to late '90s, and we've been playing that as a three-piece for a long time. And then after a while, we kind of did different creative kind of things, and then basically within the last 4 years, I would have to say 4 or 5 years, we got back together, and here we are.
So oh, you have a visitor.
Yeah, well, actually, I should probably put him on. This is my Manny piece, you
Oh,
know
it's a boxer.
like the dog.
I have a boxer.
Oh, really?
Aren't they the best?
Oh, yeah, except for when you want to do something and then he realizes you're going to have to do something. So, like right now, he's like jumping at me, like, I want to go up. So, if you could, switch back to Steve for a second.
So
Well, you should. There was kind of a seminal thing. That's my word for today, seminal. Thing that happened about 5 years ago now, and you can Tom and Tien can probably tell you, but they organized along with the Destroyers, Andre from the Destroyers. They organized a thing called the Surf Rock Social, which was in Everett, a town north of Seattle, and this was like early 2018, I think, and it was just amazing to see all the fans and all the bands in one place. I think that was the first time that was done, and that had a huge effect because the bands all networked, and most of them are intact to this day. I think they all are, and they're all playing with each other. And lot of credit to Tien and Tom for fostering community. It's huge.
awesome. Awesome. Now playing, like, getting together all the surf bands and playing a festival just from Seattle is one thing that must like you said, fostering community.
Yeah,
But what's it like having the bands that you love that are out on tour come and stop and play with you guys?
it's great. It's flattering.
I mean, we played with Stereo Donkey, which is kind of an interesting kind of a offbeat surf type band, which the bass player is the
Can you move your
original
camera
bass
just
player
over a
from.
little bit?
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's all right. Go ahead.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Stereo Donkey was a very interesting band that we played with. The bass player was the original bass player for Soundgarden, and you meet so many different kind of individuals in this genre out here because it's all mixed up. You've got traditional, you've got us, which is kind of the heavy surf kind of sound, kind of little punk beats, surf kind of thing. We tend to not do absolute traditional, but you
Yeah.
could tell the surf elements there kind of thing. So um it's a mix up. I mean, we've been playing for as long as the Boss Martians for that. I remember when we were sharing one of their practice spaces out here at one point, so, hats off to Eric, man. He's, still out there doing it, so it's great. We enjoy it. Not a lot of money, but we enjoy it.
Well, that's where I'm leading next. Where can people find your music if they want to purchase it?
Well,
Well,
we've got Steve, what do you think?
well, that Reverb Nation link that I sent maybe an hour or two ago. Sorry, we didn't get that to you sooner, but that will lead you right to it. There's some we have. It's confusing because there's like 5 other bands called Plank, and so to find us, you look up the following: the first original Plank, and that will bring you to us. There's a lot of static because there's all these other bands. We'll have to figure out a better way to channel that to people, I think.
All right. All right, cool. So let's talk a few seconds about gear. What is your weapon of choice?
For me, it's a Stratocaster. I've had a lot of different guitars throughout my time. I've tried different amps. I've tried all kinds of stuff. Um, Again, I wanted the reverb. I wanted that echoey kind of sound, drippy, whatever. Uh, Actually, one of my favorite amps I wish I never got rid of was a Marshall JCM 800. But Strats, I always seem to come back to. I had a Jazzmaster. Steve's got probably more different types of guitars than I do. He seems to like to collect them. I've kind of narrowed it back down to a Stratocaster for me. And I
Mhm.
played through a Egnator, 212 Renegade, or I'll play through Mike Quilder, Tone Block, kind
Okay.
of the Daikaju kind of,
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
Nice. What about you, Steve?
Well, my you know main working tools are a Strat or a Jaguar through a 72 twin with a reverb tank. Um, that's my working rig. However, I'm kind of obsessed with Japanese guitars. I've got a bunch of those. I don't really use them in the band very much, but I've got a Gaia Tone, and I've got a uh, Flying Samurai, and a few. I love those Japanese guitars. I love them. Uh, but my working rigs are Fenders.
Cool, cool. What is it about the Japanese guitars? Is it the tone, the feel, the weight? What is it about it?
Good question. The tone is great. The tone is just quintessential surf to me, and the design is so science fiction, and so they didn't know they weren't supposed to do things, so they just did them, and that's what I love about them. Some of those designs are pure science fiction.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I agree. I mean, the tone on those things are whacked out, all over the board. I've had a couple Japanese guitars as well too. And you know, had a really nice Japanese Strat that was a heavy metal Strat back in the day. That you know, yeah, we love all kinds of different instruments. We're not really narrowed down, but a lot of us are like everybody else on a budget.
It's I liken like I have a Strat over here, but
Mhm.
I only have one guitar. I'm not like a professional musician. I liken it to my record collection. Like I may have 2 or 3 different versions of the same record in a different format. Oh,
Well, I
it,
like the fact that you have a maple neck. I love maple necks.
oh yeah, me too. Me too. Yeah, and you know why? Eddie Van Halen.
Uh, he was kind of probably earlier than that, but I mean,
Well,
I
for
just love the tone.
yeah.
But my favorite guitar player, which is kind of funny, is Jeff Beck.
Oh yeah, yeah. I just heard him do a surf version of I can't remember what it was. Oh, it was so good. That guy's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, even with Jimi Hendrix, I mean, he did that Third Stone from the Sun, and at the end, he went into this like kind of psychedelic surf kind of sounding, song, which was really cool. And I've always admired that as well too.
What what are some of you two guys uh I would say oldest surf influences from way back?
I was hoping you'd ask that question. It's almost an ancestral memory for me.
Okay.
Sorry, Bob, I just stepped on your toes. I
Now go
barged in.
ahead, man. Yeah, you're
Uh,
nostalgic as heck.
okay, I'm 4 years old and I'm living in a brand new subdivision. We have a big hedge around our house. And even at 4, I knew what I was interested in, and there were some really cute teenage girls dancing on their back deck, and I peeked through the hedge, and there was that guitar sound. I'm serious. They were listening to Jan and Dean and the Beach Boys, and then some instrumental stuff. Which I'm sorry, that's too long ago. I can't even remember what specifically it was, but I heard that guitar sound, and I saw that cute girls liked it, and that kind of imprinted on me. And then later, when I'm about mid-teens and I'm taking guitar lessons. I'm taking lessons from this guy who's like a Southern California surf guy. And I wanted to learn, probably at that time, mid 70s, probably wanted to learn, I don't know, David Bowie, Black Sabbath, something. And he was insisting that I learn the ventures like note for note and stuff like that. So it that sort of reinforced that ancient love of that sound. And I've never lost it. I've always liked that sound. It's a touchstone I come back to.
Uh as far as the lessons go, did he I mean, I'm sure at a young age you were when you were learning the ventures, were you learning from sheet music or were you learning to play it by ear?
By ear and by rote, watching him.
Awesome. That's how I learned. And
Yep.
I think there's no better way.
Yeah. I couldn't really do sheet music. I had a mental block. Later I got pretty comfortable with I love tab, but we didn't really have it at that in those days. It wasn't like readily available. So you just watched somebody's hands and copied it
Awesome.
and
Well,
ruined a lot of
in all the
records.
time I've been playing, I find that if you just strictly try to learn off a tablet, tabs or whatever, you don't get the feel. You gotta, just like your ear has to pick up, all right, where am I bending the note? What am I doing at
Yeah.
this point?
The little
Um,
nuances.
yeah, exactly. And I try to focus on a lot of that, um, which is like I'll use feedback, which where the heck does feedback come into surf? Well, I figured out a way, I
Hmm.
mean, it's things like that.
Yeah.
Awesome. So tell me about your influences.
Oh, well, heck, as far I grew up, like, uh, I was watching the early, like TV series in the 60s, all the spy movies and TV
Uh,
shows and that kind of thing. And they all had that really cool kind of like, spy, you know, slash surf kind of sound. And then, of course, you had the Annette Funicello and whatever movies, Beach,
uh-huh.
Party Bingo or whatever. And Dick Dale was like the big guy, man, usually focused on a lot of those things. And I just like, I fell in love with it and it bled in. Which is kind of funny because when I first started playing guitar, I played strictly blues. And then when I came out here, I started writing my own stuff. And somebody said, that sounds really kind of surfy. And that's where it hit. It's like, okay, maybe this is what I need to do.
Nice. Nice. So this interview is a part of a series from all the bands that are playing Surf by Surfwest 4. And I want to know, at this stage of the game, you said before the interview you have some new members and you're concentrating on recording and writing. Are we going to be lucky enough to hear any of those new songs?
Definitely. We're, try to promote our stuff more going forward. And, we'll, of course, we're not on a major label of any sort or anything. So we're strictly recording and, pressing our own CDs at this point. Anybody out there that wants to help us, that'd be cool. At any rate, yes, I would definitely say that, through our Facebook page, especially,
Yeah.
we're shoving a lot of, of our stuff out there, be it whether live performances, video wise and so forth, or what we're doing in the studio. And of course, we got a big, green screen behind us. So we could set up shop like we're in the middle of the tropics or wherever, so, it gets entertaining. And if anybody's gone to the page, they'll find out, kind of where our head's at.
Nice. Very, very, very cool. I can't wait to hear about how the show went. Any last things you want to say about the surf scene, the growing scene in Seattle, or the Surf by Surfwest festival in particular?
Well, it looks like our drummer Jimmy's trying to connect or something, but I would have to say hats off to the Woodhavens.
Yeah.
Melcore Reverbs that was in Evanstones, and Jeff, their drummer, bass player, kind of shifted off and started doing their own thing. And they've been, like one of our like kind of closest bands that we play with a lot. Really like them. Murder Men as well too out here.
Oh, yeah.
That is, they opened up for Daikaju about a year or two ago, and they're really good. And they're, Dan, the guitar player, man, he's, awesome, and he has a really cool kind of heavier, dark, kind of attack on surf, which I enjoy because, one of my favorite bands is Typo Negative.
Nice.
Yeah, so I have a lot of influences, so
that's what makes modern surf so special. I think is the metal influences, the punk influences, even Ilecki and
Yeah.
just the DIY nature of it from punk rock. I think make
Mhm.
modern surf music able for, individuals to pursue more naturally than having to,
Oh
find a
yeah.
bunch of, you know what I mean?
Oh heck yeah. You
We
know,
wouldn't
I mean,
have we wouldn't have the modern surf scene if it hadn't been for punk rock. It wouldn't. The whole idea of self-promoting, putting on your own shows, self-promotion, self-recording, all that stuff goes back to, late 70s, early 80s punk. We wouldn't have surf today if it weren't for them showing us the way to do it ourselves. You know, that that has to be said. I don't listen to a lot of punk anymore, but it all came from that, you know.
I agree. And if it wasn't for the fact that it rained so much out in Seattle and we got really good putt, we probably wouldn't be able to get together and like really practice as much as we do.
So what do you think of the venue you guys are going to be playing at? Apparently it's grown.
Daryl's.
Yeah, Daryl's. It's people have a real love for it in the
Yeah.
community.
It's an old time kind of tavern. They got an outside stage and they got an inside stage. And, generally, early part of like on Saturdays, July 22nd, where it's the second show. The first on Friday is all inside for the most part. And there's just like what, 4 bands?
Yeah.
And then the second day, Saturday, we start off the show at 1 o'clock. And then it just like kind of continues till like midnight after that.
Yeah.
And they kind of switch it to half the day outside, half the day inside. And it's kind of interesting. However, I'm kind of hoping that eventually we'll grow and be able to do like kind of a larger, uh, you know, uh, venue of some sort, to like really push it out there a little bit further and
Yeah,
get more people in and that kind of thing.
awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for coming on and talking. It was a pleasure to meet you and
Me
hear
too.
your story. And although I can't be there, I give my full support and my love and respect to you guys in Seattle and Surf by Surfwest, Tien and Tom and Mel and the Del Destroyers. Everybody up there is considered a friend to me.
Well,
What are the
Ryan, I appreciate you taking your time out to talk to us. And, like I said, I've listened to a lot of your, podcasts and enjoyed all of them and enjoy what you're doing. And once again, thank you for the moment.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you very much, guys. I appreciate you watching, and it means a lot to me that when somebody wants to talk to me, and then I get to talk to somebody that I dig their music, and it all works out, and that's what makes it fun. Meeting the people is the most fun.
Sounds cool. Maybe sometime we'll get together and jam.
Yeah, we can do that. We can do
You
that.
know, that
Hey,
would be cool. I mean, I grew up in the Midwest. I came from Ohio, actually, Ohio, Michigan. So,
Okay.
I get back there from time to time. And if I do, I'll take the extra trip out.
Nice.
who are the big surf bands out your way?
Well, not too far from us, the High Tide
Oh
is
yeah.
is based Vincent and Magdalena. But I want to say as far as Philadelphia, they're more of a Hawaiian slowy in the boats.
Oh yeah.
Mm,
So
yeah.
those guys are relatively close. But then I think you'd have to go to New York with Wiped Out and the Coffin Daggers.
Yeah. Coffin Daggers.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they came to Philadelphia about a year and a half ago with Surfer Joe, and that was a great show.
Oh, they're the best. They're great.
Yeah, so like Surfer Joe went on, and he's a showman, so you
Yep.
get that really
Yes, he is.
the real warm traditional sound, and then the
Yep.
Cloth and Daggers came on and just destroyed the place.
See, that's what we like to do. Is
Yeah.
we like to drop a bomb after everybody's listened to the same traditional twangy, reverby kind of stuff. We come in and like just drive a nail through it. Like usually I'll start the show by saying, "Well, here's something a little different," and then we'll go
Yeah.
into like Rokapuda or something like that. Which is, just a driving song right off the bat. So, that's where I love to do that. Just like, let's shake it up a bit, and have fun.
Awesome. That's what it's all about, right?
Yeah, well, forget your problems at the door. We got enough of that crap, man, through our lives. Let's, for a couple moments, enjoy ourselves.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.
If you ever need anything, feel free to reach out. Be like you want to post a flyer or something like that, and I don't see it to share it. Just message it to me, and I'll post it up on my page.
Thank you.
Sounds cool.
Awesome, guys. You take care.
Thanks, you
All
too.
right,
Thanks for
you
talking
as
to us.
well. I know it's late out there, so get some rest, man.